Welcome back, Dragons. We're going to work on page 12, evaluating real-world application. You'll see that you might need to use page 11, evaluate algebraic expressions, in order to accomplish page 12. I'll walk you through these problems, but I'd like you to pause this video and attempt the problems on your own. I'll give you another opportunity after these two practice problems to pause the video before completing the rest. Let's start with number 1. Evaluate the formula below when L equals 3 and W equals 5. Well, what they're talking about here is length and width. Right here, this happens to be the formula for perimeter of a rectangle. 2 lengths plus 2 widths. That would be all the way around the rectangle. Well, we can use algebra to simplify that problem where we wouldn't even have to add it all up into 4 pieces like we would if we just used simple addition. We're going to take the value of L, which is 3, and replace it here. We're going to take the value of W, which is 5, and replace it here. I'm going to rewrite the new expression with the correct values inserted. Perimeter is going to equal 2 times 3 plus 2 times 5. This is when you stop and think order of operations. You need to still conduct your order of operations in order to receive the proper solution. I have 2 groupings of multiplication happening here. I tend to do them simultaneously. What I mean by that is I do the 2 times 3, which is 6, and I know that the 2 times 5 is next, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of the 2 times 5, which is 10. 6 plus 10 equals 16. Let's try number 2 together. Evaluate the formula below when B is worth 2.5 and H is worth 4. This is area equals 1/2 base times height. You might recall this formula for area. It's that of a triangle. I'm going to go ahead and evaluate this expression by substituting the values into their correct areas. I'm going to rewrite the expression with the values inserted. 1/2 times 2.5, 2 and 5/10, times 4. Now, I like to look for shortcuts whenever I can, especially when it comes to decimals. Right now, I'm seeing that I could move these around. I can use the commutative property and do 1/2 times 4 times 2.5. And the reason I want to do that is because I know 1/2 times 4 is 2. Which makes this problem now 2 times 2.5. 2 times 2.5 is 5. If you think about money, if you had 2 groups of $2.50, both of those groups together, that would have been $5. So 2 times 2.5 is 5. There's 2 examples for you. Now I'd like you to pause the video and try 1, 2, and 3 independently. Then resume the video to see the solutions. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the solutions for 1, 2, and 3 now. Number 1. The formula for the area of a square is s squared, where s is a side length. Calculate the area of a square garden with a side length of 5 meters. This is another evaluation where we simply substitute the value of s where it's needed. Area equals side squared. They told us the side is worth 5 meters, so it's going to be 5 meters squared. 5 meters squared is 5 times 5, 25. Meters squared remains as meters squared. It's indicated as such. Next, the formula to convert degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit is Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32. What is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit if the current temperature is 28 degrees Celsius? I'm going to replace the value of C here. I'm going to rewrite the expression. I've got 9/5 times 28 plus 32. This is not one I have memorized. I'm actually going to have to do a little bit of math here. So 9/5 times 28 over 1. I'm going to multiply across. You may not know 28 times 9. You might need to work that off to the side, and I can do that right here. 28 times 9. 9 times 8 is 72. I'm going to put a 2 here, carry a 7. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 7 is 25. So I've got 252 as my numerator. 5 times 1 is 5. Now I need to simplify this. I definitely need to simplify this. So I'm going to do 252 divided by 5. Need a little space for that too. Let me scoot that in here. 5 will go into 252. Well, 5 can't go into 2, but 5 can go into 25. 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract 0. Bring down the 2. 5 can't go into 2. I actually have to put a 0 there. 0 times 5 is 0. Subtract 2. Subtract 0 is 2. Add a decimal. Remember to bring it up. Add a 0. Bring it down. 5 goes into 20. 4 times 5 is 20. There's no remainder, so I have a terminating decimal. That's ideal at this point. So this entire solution right here, that was all that math, was 50 and 4/10. 50.4 plus 32. So when we add those together, we're going to get 82 and 4/10 degrees Fahrenheit is what you just solved for. Lastly, number 3. The formula to calculate the volume of a tent in the shape of a triangular prism is volume equals 1/2 base times height times length, where h is the height of the front, b is the width of the front, and L is the length of the tent. Calculate the volume of the tent that has a height of 3 feet, a width of 2 8/10 feet, and a length of 6 feet. Another substitute problem. 1/2, b is worth width, and length. I'm going to go with width must be base. 2.8. Height is 3. Length is 6. This is all done in feet. I'll add the label again at the end. Well, I like to do things easy again. I'm going to rearrange things. I'm going to do 1/2 times 3 times 6 first. 1/2, I'm just rearranging. This is just the commutative property. It's because I'm trying to save that decimal for last. I know 3 times 6 is 18. I know half of 18 is 9. So I'm trying to make this problem easier. So now I know I have to do 9 times 2.8. Again, if you didn't catch what I did 3 times 6, which was 18. Half of 18 is 9. I took care of all of this. But I still need to multiply 9 by 2.8. So over here, I'm going to do a little bit of math. 2.8 times 9, which seems really familiar because we did 28 times 9 a moment ago. So that is 2, 7, 25. But you have to multiply by a power of 10. We needed a decimal there. Because if we had made that a whole number, we would have had to move it a power of 10. Our answer here is 25 and 2/10 feet cubed. There's page 12. If you have any questions or concerns, email me at my GPS email address or leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you.